Hey BAM community, I hope you enjoyed this unboxing video. I was so excited that I got to share it with BAM and our whole entire community. I really hope you enjoy this fairy tale statue of the fire-breathing, fire-eating Dragon Slayer Natsu. Hope you guys enjoy.
Huge shout out and thanks to a subscriber and good friend of the channel, Beastie Boy 007. He showed some amazing trust by shipping me the statue so that I can showcase it and share it with everybody on the channel. It is my privilege to share with you the first ever fairy tale statue on my channel of Natsu Dragoneel. Flipping the base right side up, we'll see a nice red and black trim around the base, and then on the very top, we'll notice that the theme and setting on this is going to be some nice fiery lava looking rocks. Impacted on the statue's base is a nice strip of LEDs. You can tell this bad boy is about to get lit, literally. Something really cool that Monkey D Studio included is an alternative nameplate that you can put on the front where it's actually his name, and you can replace that guild symbol on the front. This is something I really wish other studios would do. I have a few Naruto statues where the nameplate is in Chinese, and it would be nice to have a swappable one to put on there. On the sides of the base are going to be 3 different effect pieces. This is one of them, and this one is installed with that steel rod that you see there. It's a nice clear resin painted with some yellow, orange, and red. Let me pull that piece of puppy hair off real quick. This piece is very similar to the others. It's just added on via the magnets that you'll see on the backside here. Spinning this around to the backside, I wanted to show you how the power is brought to the LED system. So we do have an AC adapter and a nice on and off switch. Moving on to the big boy effect pieces, this is the right side large flame piece, and if we flip this around the back, look in the bottom, it does attach with that large steel rod you can see there, as well as those grooves that fit inside the area where those LEDs are. Now these spaces right here are for additional effect pieces that they sculpted separately, which I will show you how those are added onto it in just a moment. I do have to remove this smaller effect piece or it will rub up against each other when I'm installing it. Here you'll see the installation of those effect pieces I was talking about. I'll be honest, they're sitting in the back. I don't really know what the point of them were, but this is where they go. In comes our left side flame piece. Now I wanted to take a moment to slow down and appreciate all the different shading of colors they did here. This is very intentional, as later when the LEDs are shooting up with them, certain colors are brought out over others. It is just beautiful and brilliant. Another one of those pesky additional effect pieces that were sculpted separately can be found here. I'll just attach this now rather than later. The last flame effect piece can be found here. Now this has a much lower profile compared to the other ones because Natsu is going to be the center of attention in the front, so that was properly sculpted. I normally wait to the end of the video to show off the glorious LEDs and statues, but we're going to take a look at these a little bit earlier. How freaking awesome does this look? Now, many of my Naruto statues do not have fire flame LED effects, so this is really refreshing and awesome to see how this comes to life. You can see all of those yellows that were painted towards the bottom are properly illuminated, and then it goes up to the oranges and the reds. It's just brilliant looking. Natsu himself was sculpted in many different pieces, so we'll show them off piece by piece. This outfit and overall scene that will be coming to life is taken from the movie Fairy Tale Dragon Cry. On the right side of Natsu's body in this statue, we will see he is partially transforming into a dragon. Now there is some debate on, is this a variation of his END? Is it his dragon seed? Is it because he absorbed some of the dragon's fire? But ultimately it comes down to him. It's like a variation of his dragon force. But hey, in the end, you can argue about it in the comments below. So both arms were sculpted separately and removable. This strong steel rod here is where it does connect to the torso of the legs. Now, I was very impressed by both the transitioning between the dragon scales and his skin. It looks incredible. I love the veins popping out there. All the wrappings on his arm just look fantastic. The texturing was so spot on. And then when we get to this arm, oh my gosh, the texturing and the time, the paint application that went into it is just absolutely awesome looking. This area back here will be very important later when we'll be connecting a very large wing. Very dynamic clothing, and you can see it was shaded as if flames were bouncing off the clothing. These two areas right here will be later where his scarf does attach to. Everything is nice and snug once it comes together, and I really love the pose for this with him bending down on one knee with a hand on the ground. His scarf was also sculpted in a very dynamic position, which is very fitting for how dynamic this statue is. These are the two sections that will connect to the back of his neck area on the main part of the body. The head sculpt for this thing is off the charts. I'm not as familiar with Monkey D Studio's work, but I am severely impressed with how they executed everything so far, and especially how this is looking. Just like the chest area, it's so awesome how they blend that mixture between the dragon portion taking over and his normal skin color. Removing his hairpiece that was sculpted separately, we'll see inside is an area that you can put some batteries. And on this left side here is a switch. We can turn it on and off. We will take a look at this after we showcase both head sculpts because they added two options available for it. You got that nice smirk or the teeth gritting with the fire coming out of his mouth. Now, I only put batteries in one side just so we can show them because hey, I actually only have 3 of these batteries handy right now, so that wouldn't work. But how awesome does that look coming out of his eye? I'll go ahead and leave this on for a little bit, but I will mention if you're in the market for this statue, be extremely careful when attaching his head onto the neck, because if you don't get it just right, it could slip off. So I did this a few times, so I'm used to it, but it was very scary at first how loose it felt. To be sure nothing rubs up against each other, I am going to assemble everything onto the base separately. With everything into place, I'll showcase this very last effect piece, which goes right in front of Natsu on the ground. My second favorite part, aside from the LEDs on this statue, is this awesome dragon wing. This thing is so huge, and honestly, as a Monster Hunter fan, it reminded me of a Rathalos wing at first, but it is just so well done all around. Here's an effect piece that is actually detachable. Came sculpted separately, but looks great on top there. But again, the paint job, the texturing all throughout, this thing is just so great looking. I am so impressed overall with how this statue was executed. That red color piece on the bottom of the wing is going to be resting on the clear resin, and this steel rod is what's going to go into the shoulder of Natsu. looks incredible once assembled. I will mention that the wing does have a little bit of a wobble to it. It's resting on the resin. It has a steel rod inside of his back, but I don't know, it does concern me a little bit how it's not exactly firm in there. So stunning. Some of the most vibrant LEDs. I love how they have a whole strip going through the base and how it illuminates up through the top. It is just incredible to see in person. I hope the camera is doing it justice. For the certificate of authenticity, it came with this nice steel plaque. Only 288 made in the world. This is number 143. We can see Monkey D Studio on the back there. But this is a great little plaque. You gotta watch the edges though. It is actually pretty sharp. Membership shout out time. If you ever at all have a question about how memberships work on this channel, please see a link in the description or feel free to ask me a question at any time. Gonna once again say thank you to Beastie Boy 007 for allowing me to showcase this on the channel. What a treat it was. I was completely blown away by everything about this statue. If you made it this far, be sure to hit that like button and feel free to comment. I always try to catch up with anybody who does comment. Sometimes I can't get to them all, but early on, I try to be right on top of it. As always, everybody, do what you love and love what you do. Bam out.